Cultural Center. We're standing in the ZAP POW the Superhero in the Golden Age of Comic Books 1938 to 1950 exhibition. It was organized by the William Bremen Museum in Atlanta, Georgia, by guest curator Jerry Robinson, who is a comic book industry insider, artist who drew for the Batman series in the 1940s. The exhibition highlights the contribution of young, innovative, creative Jewish artists, writers, publishers, and editors, and the superheroes that they created that really shaped the values of an entire generation of people. The exhibition follows the historical context of the superhero movement from 1938 through the World War II era into 1950. The comic book industry really developed out of a need for superheroes to right the ills of the world. If you think back to that time, it was a time when the world was facing an economic crisis. It was the Great Depression. There was a threat of war and fascism, the rise of Nazism and Hitler, and superheroes fought against all of those evils. Comic books were popular reading material among soldiers fighting abroad. They got involved in the war effort, selling war bonds, and they helped sort of polarize the battle between good and evil. The exhibition includes many interactive elements in addition to the original artwork and comic books that are on display. Right now we're in what I would consider a new golden age of comic books. We have books that are more popular now than they ever have been, and a resurgence of adaptations of comic book heroes in film and television. So it's a really great time to have this exhibition and a great time for comic books.
I'm the museum director here at the Skirball Cultural Center, and we're standing in the galleries of the Superheroes exhibition, originated by the William Bremen Museum in Atlanta, curated by Jerry Robinson. And actually, if we turn the camera around right here, you can see a Stern Siegel in which Superman was created. Joe Shuster was the illustrator, and that is actually his original drawing board on which he first drew the Superman character. And this is the typewriter here on which Jerry Siegel wrote the first storylines for Superman. And the Skirball has also created a companion exhibition called Lights, Camera, Action. How the superheroes were translated to television and film, with the original costumes of Michael Keaton as Batman, Christopher Reeve as Superman, Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy. We have the Bat Cycle on loan to us from the Peterson Automotive Museum here in Los Angeles, with the actual sidecar for Robin. It's really quite wonderful to see. And this is all a celebration, really, of comic books, of the golden age of comic books when they first became a cultural phenomenon, an international phenomenon, and what is little known outside of the community of comic book fans and scholars is that the inventors, the progenitors of this industry were mostly American Jews. Many of them were immigrants or the children of immigrants from the old country, and they got involved in this faintly disreputable, marginal art venture, pop venture of drawing comic strips and comic book characters. And they ended up inventing characters that transformed American ideals and values, or perhaps gave expression to them, particularly during the World War II era, when Superman was among the first to take on Hitler and Mussolini, even before the United States committed to engage in war against the Axis powers. The truth, justice, and the American way, which became the slogan not only for Superman, but for many people in their patriotic lives. And you see here we have created some interactive elements in the exhibition because the Skirball particularly welcomes families with young children. We have many attractions for them here. And within the exhibition we've actually created a studio where children themselves can emulate the cartoonists You see we have the human form here that can be manipulated. Kids can sketch, and they can see with this example of the Joker how these characters were first created. And also, if we move this way, down at the end of this corridor, we have the opportunity for children to actually handle the replicas of these comics, where they can actually read the stories, because the comics on view, as you can see, are often the cover art, and they have to be protected by vitrines because they're very rare, many of them. But we wanted to make sure that children understood that comic books are about storytelling. So here on the wall we see these very early pages from Wonder Woman, and down below on the counter here, we recreated these different comics so kids can actually read them and enjoy them and understand that they're a form of narrative art that perhaps precedes the current forms of technology that kids are familiar with, whether streaming on the internet or otherwise, that there was this earlier form of storytelling that has had such an influence on their own lives.